Hello, I'm Martinez. My name is Itzell, and I'll be having my next giveaway when I reach 500 subscribers. I will have questions during the live, and when I reach 450, I'll do the questions again in a premiere. Right now, let's see what palettes are up for grabs this go round. So be sure to share me out to help me get there. Be sure to give the video a thumbs up if you like it. Good morning, everyone. I'm Martinez. My name is Itzell, and it's Favorites Friday. We're chatting my favorite shows. So let's ask Siri to pick a number. Siri, pick a number 1 through 37.
A random number between 1 and 37 is 2.
We've done 2. Why couldn't it be 3? Siri, pick a number 1 through 37.
A random number between 1 and 37 is 10.
Yay! 10 is Once Upon a Time. I love Once Upon a Time.
I found this on the web.
Siri's still talking. Okay, let's talk about the show. If you don't know Once Upon a Time, so Once Upon a Time, you don't talk, but you you get to experience the stories, the ones where you never knew exactly what happened, like, because there's so much missing in all of the different stories. Snow White, Cinderella, Rumpelstiltskin, like, all of those get covered in Once Upon a Time. So, without saying too much, let's get into what I like about the show. And you're like, well, why aren't you going to describe it? Because we're going to get to that in what I like about the show. So, I like that finally somebody gave the villains a backstory, because I always wanted to know why the evil queen hated Snow White. I didn't buy, she's just too beautiful. Like, no, there has to be more than her beautiful looks to why she is the way she is. Like, there had to be more to the wicked witch, why she was green. Like, more than just, this is how it is. So I liked that finally there was a show that gave everybody a backstory. I liked that fairy tales and like the things that we see, it all happened in another world. um that it was essentially history, and it wasn't accurate because there was plenty of things missing in the stories, but I like that it was just history from another world, another land that was not accessible to us, that it happened in a world called the Enchanted Forest. And I like that there were different worlds, like Alice in Wonderland was in a different world, and what other one, the Wicked Witch was in another world, and then they had Forgotten Stories. There's like so much to Once Upon a Time that I absolutely love. I love, just the adventure and seeing like all the different things that the characters had to overcome throughout the show. And it's so much fun to see people grow and change and adapt and let go of their pain and their loss. Like, there's so much to love about Once Upon a Time. You haven't watched it yet, you need to check it out. Trust me, you will not be disappointed. And if they didn't remove it, it should be on Disney Plus. So there's that. I really enjoy watching Once Upon a Time. I've watched it numerous times. So let's get into favorite characters. So I have a few. At the top of my list, which most people are like, really? Yeah, really. Regina. the evil queen. She wasn't the evil queen anymore. She extracted herself from the evil queen. It's a long story. Watch the show. Um, but yeah, I loved that. We got Regina's backstory. We found out that she hated Snow White because Snow White told a secret that she promised she wouldn't to her mother. And her mother took things into her own hands and made sure that, you know, her fiance wouldn't survive so she could marry Snow White's father. So it's very sad. But she was a child. She didn't know that that was going to happen. She had no idea. She thought that if people show you that they're kind, then that's who they are. That's what she was taught. She didn't know about malicious behavior. She didn't know about manipulation. She didn't know any of that. She just knew that she didn't have her mother anymore, and if she could keep, the mother-daughter bond strong, then that's what she wanted to do. So she had no idea, and Regina was mad for a very long time about it. So much so that she created a curse that took them to our world. So, yeah. But also, doing that was actually Rumpelstiltskin's plan in the background, so we'll get into that as well. Um, so I love seeing her, forgive Snow White and them, like, being able to get along with each other and even become like family. Because technically they are family. You're like, well, how are they family? Well, Regina adopted Snow White and Prince Charming's grandson, and she didn't know. That's who he was. So there's that. She didn't know at first. I believe she did find out, but then she erased her memories so she could, you know, still have her son without worrying that one day her mother would come back and get him. So, yeah. Let's chat about um I think that covered everything. She turned everything around and she became a good person and even had good magic. Like, we'll get into something, what I dislike about the show. It has to do with Regina, so wait for that. Let's see, other favorite characters. So I said Regina, um, Snow White. I love Snow White. I love that even though she went through hell because of Regina, she didn't lose her charm and her purity. She did do one thing that made her heart turn a little bit black, and I didn't like that, but I can understand what pushed her to that point. You have to watch the show. Um, so yeah. Let's see. Charming. So I love Prince Charming, David Nolan. I love that he wasn't born royal. There was a deal that was done, and Rumpelstiltskin took his twin brother, to be a prince. The brother passed, and he took his place. But, through all these events, he met Snow. They had true love, and even though the world kept trying to rip them apart, they kept finding their way back to each other and kept going forward together as a couple and overcoming so many obstacles. I love that. I love how much love they have between them, and I actually love that the characters, like, not the characters, but the actors that played the characters, like, fell in love in real life and are married, and it's just like, yeah, you could totally see the chemistry between them. So, yeah. Let's see, favorite characters. We got Regina, Snow White, Prince Charming, and I like Captain Hook, Killian Jones. Um, he did a lot of bad things, but I like that he was trying, even though it was so hard, he was trying to do the right thing after he met Emma and fell in love. And he was trying his best, to be a good partner, a good fit for Emma, and be a good influence on Henry. So I like that a lot. And speaking of Henry, it reminded me this is probably my last favorite character. Neil, who's Bellfire Bay. It's Rumpelstiltskin's son, and I love just, even though he came from a horrible father that was very selfish, that he was still like grounded and knew right from wrong and knew, he didn't want to be anything like his father. He wanted to protect his son from his father as much as he possibly could. So I love, how loving he was, and I hate that Emma kept him a secret from Bay, from Bellfire, from Neil, because he deserved to know. So when the time came for him to find out, like, she did the right thing and like let him know, but she's basically cornered. She didn't have any other way out, like, than to tell the truth. And I felt so bad that, Henry had to find out she lied like that, but in her mind, she wanted to protect him. But I feel like no matter what happens between you and your partner, like, if they hurt you and it's like, a broken heart, how it was in this scenario. It's like you don't know they're going to break their own child's heart. You don't know what kind of relationship they were going to have. You didn't know his childhood. You didn't know what that taught him. Because if anything, he became the polar opposite of his father. He was such a good person. So, there's that. Let's go with what I dislike. So, I dislike oh wait, no. We're skipping least favorite characters. Sorry. Least favorite characters. Emma. I know you're kind of like, really? Yeah, I didn't like Emma. Like, she was very much um fixated on like the memes. Like, it was all about her all of the time. Like, it's like Henry coming to bring her back. All she cared about was getting rid of Henry so, she can go back to her life. Whenever she met her parents, it was all about how they abandoned her, not about how they did what they could to protect her. So there were so many times where she was just so consumed by, I don't know, selfishness, that I didn't like her. And like, she had a hard time opening up to people, and yeah, I could say that it's like being an orphan. That's what that comes from. So there's that. So yeah, Emma is one of my least favorite characters. And I disliked Rumpelstiltskin, Mr. Gold, through so much of the show. I did not like him. I grew to like him like a bit towards the end, but yeah, I did not like him throughout most of the show. So there's that. Let's see, I didn't like Peter Pan. Peter Pan was actually Rumpelstiltskin's dad. I did not like him at all. He was very selfish, self-centered, and only cared about himself, and he didn't care about, sacrificing his family, his son and grandson, so he can keep on living forever. So, yeah, I did not like him. Let's see. Who else do I dislike? I dislike the Black Fairy, who's Rumpelstiltskin's mom. She was not kind, very selfish. It started out about her son, and then it just turned to be all about her. And like Rumpelstiltskin, power, getting more power, getting all the power. I don't know. I disliked her so much. So let's talk about what I disliked about the show. I disliked that Snow and Charming actually stole Maleficent's baby that was in an egg. Um, and put Emma's dark, um, like dark magic or like her dark intentions, I'm not really sure, into the child, into the baby. I dislike that. And then they had to send the baby to our world. So, yeah. I didn't like that they did that, but they were manipulated by um, the author at the time. So there's that. I disliked, Emma keeping her son a secret from Neil. I didn't agree with that. I didn't agree with her lying to Henry about it and not telling him the truth. So I disliked that. I disliked the very last season because, like, so many of the main characters weren't in the show anymore. So it was just hard to enjoy it without Emma, Prince Charming, Snow White. Like, it was just hard. Alright, why would I recommend this show? If you're into fantasy, if you're into like close knit relationships, if you're into like, you know, fairy tales and you always wanted the backstories, like you will enjoy Once Upon a Time so much. So let me know what you think. Do you like Once Upon a Time? Have you seen it before? Is it on your list? Be sure to give the video a thumbs up if you like it, and bye.